Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome to the Dublin Racing Festival review and the Final Furlong podcast. It is great to have your company, great to have the company once again of Jaime Wrenn, who I actually met in person and can confirm he is the giant that he looks in all those Instagram photos as well. Jaime, you're welcome back to the show, my friend. And delighted to say that we're also joined by special guest, bloodstock agent Supremo, the man who purchased Old Park Star along with a whole load of others. No drama this end. All set to come roaring to Cheltenham success. Tom Malone, you're very welcome back to the show.
Good to be on. We'll
begin with Factile, who put in a performance I didn't see coming. An extraordinary performance in the Irish Gold Cup. So good, surely the Gold Cup is the race he's going to go for, which will be devastating to those who've been getting stuck into him for the Ryanair chase. But he was that good, Jaime Wrenn. I would imagine the Gold Cup will be a hard race for the McManus and the Mullins team to skip, because for one, Galopin Des Champs is now very vulnerable, and two, I know the way you're thinking, he's completely gone at the game.
Oh, he's definitely going to be supplements, and there's no doubt about that, because they have Majborough for the Queen Mother, they've the horses everyone beats by 8 lengths, John Bond for the Ryanair, and then you have Factile for the Gold Cup. But besides that, I didn't see this coming at all, Emmet. I was in shock. Was it the ground? Could possibly be. But last year he didn't stay against Galopin Des Champs. I just don't know where this I thought Gaelic Warrior kind of half broke him in the dirt again. I'll put that with you. And then the King George, he never raised the gallop. So I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I didn't think he stayed 3 miles, and that's the honest to God. Gaelic Warrior was too keen. No, there is a thing about, will he go back and trip? I don't think he might. I think off a faster pace in the Gold Cup, I think if he'll settle better, and he might stay. But there is a little nagging doubt now that he could switch to the Ryanair. Galopin, I saw the comment from Willie Mullins. I just don't get it. He's a great horse, one of the all-time greats, but they'll say he's left a little bit for the Gold Cup. No, thanks. I'm all right there. Firefox couldn't believe the run. I Am Maximus, it's just a Grand National horse. Monty Star, a Grand National horse. Chan Kylie, the rest of them. Affdale Fury, very disappointing. And then you get to I Know the Way You're Thinking. He just looks like he just won his Gold Cup. He's never been the same again, I mean, and that's just the way I look at it. Would I ever part with money on him again? Never again. No, not a hope. It leaves a lot of questions to be asked for the Gold Cup and the Ryanair. Would I back Factile for a Gold Cup? My answer at this moment in time, I couldn't trust him. No. But I was just shocked. I couldn't believe he did that. I don't know where this performance after coming. All of a sudden, he looks like he'll stay 3 miles and further. I don't know. Is it because of the heavy ground? And I think that's what's me as well. I think it's the heavy ground. But I think if it was a faster run race on better ground, better-ish ground, I know Gaelic Warrior likes that from, but you looked at Patrick Mullins, he was keen in his hands all the way around and nothing left for up the straight. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it, Emmet. It just shows me that the English horses from the King George might have a small, I'm going to say not a massive advantage, but I think they're a little bit ahead. That's just me.
Oh, it's funny because I would have the complete opposite view to that. It seems like Factile just didn't go on the ground, Tom, in the King George. And that was a comment from Willie Mullins afterwards that he thinks he's sort of interested to know what was that ground really at Kempton, because Factile never went to yard that day.
Well, I would take Jaime on here and say that Harry Cobden made the King George a spectacle for viewers. To me, if Factile and Gaelic Warrior had been allowed to do what they'd done the other day, I know Ben Pauling's horse is an admirable, lovely horse. He wouldn't have been within 6 lengths of him, if my honest opinion, because to me, Harry Cobden is one of the greatest judges of pace to make a race. He jumped off, he hit the front, and he slowed it all down. He had them all parked up, turning for home, and then he fell out of screen. But it left 4 brilliant horses to sprint down over the last 4 furlongs. And any good horse can sprint down over the last 3 fences. And for me, Factile was never going in the race. So I just wiped him out. Gaelic Warrior ran his race, and it was just one of them, to have them 4 horses in a line and maybe 2 lengths covering a whole lot of them, that doesn't show. Whereas what Factile done, I've loved 2 horses in my career that I haven't been a part of. And they're very similar animals. Vatour. I thought he was the greatest animal I'd ever seen and got killed in his young age. I thought he was as good a horse as I've ever seen. Jump at speed and may well have got a trip. Factile is the next one. I thought he is devastating, this horse. And I'll go with you, Jamie. What I seen him do in Leopardstown, I did not expect, given the ground. He just was never going in Kempton for whatever reason. And they may say he's better left-handed, but he ran well enough times right-handed at Punchestown. So to say that, that's fine. That's grand. It's still a very open Gold Cup. I can see why they might go for it. He would be the biggest moral certainty that ever walked into the Ryanair if he goes for it. Whether he goes for the Gold Cup is another thing. Could I back him? I think he's the best horse in it, but I could definitely see him getting really outstayed in the end.
If it was like dour ground and you had a dour stair like Haughty Colors, who might actually be better served by going for a Dublin Chase as opposed to having to match up in this race, that kind of a scenario, like a real stamina surging race?
No. Haughty Colors is a beautiful horse, but he's not in the same league as this animal, please. This horse has pure grade 1 class. We still have to, I must admit, Leopardstown is the first time I've ever thought, you might stay the Gold Cup trip. I have never once thought it before, ever. I never thought it once. Last year in Leopardstown, I thought, well, you just not. No, he got within 5 lengths of him, but I just thought you got outstayed. This is the first time. Now he is 9, so there is a bit of strength on it, but he's also French bred. I know there's been plenty of Gold Cup winners French bred, when people jump down my throat about that, but they seem to be just that bit better shy of 3 miles than they do 3.25 miles. But would I be surprised to see him win it? No. Would I back him to do it? Also, no.
Yeah, funny, I would. And I'd be amazed if they don't go for it. Now, listen,
I'm sure they will.
There's 3 very different opinions on this race from the 3 of us, and that's the great thing about horse racing. We can all see the same information and have radically different ideas.
And I love this horse now. I love
this
horse.
Well, I do too.
One bit. I think he is.
Listen, I love the horse, Tom. The praise that you've heaped on him, putting him in with Vautour, I mean, that is quite some praise indeed.
I think he's equal. Vautour's equal.
But bear in mind,
I think he's equal.
That's a very strong statement to make, by the way. But I didn't have a cent on this guy in the Irish Gold Cup. And you could argue, benefit of hindsight's very easy. Like, he was unexposed over 3 miles. He'd been lightly raced at that test. He was a devastating winner of the Ryanair.
When Galopin Des Champs ran in this race a year ago, he ran to a racing post rating of 181. He ran to 165. So for someone to say they've left a bit to work on, given he'd had a run, I just didn't see the same horse myself personally. I didn't see the same horse. And there's always a point in a racehorse's career where at the races, maybe not at home, but at the races, they look like they're not quite the same animal. And I thought I could forgive him his last run. I could say that. That's fine. I could give that. But on Sunday, I expected him. Now, I would have to say that I would you would expect Willie's horses to be more consistent this year. He's having loads of winners. Of course he is. But there are plenty of horses that are disappointing.
Yeah, on that.
Very disappointing.
Just to pounce on that for a second. He had 51 runners at the DRF and 5 winners. Gordon had 30 runners at the DRF and 5 winners. So it's pretty easy to say which of the two of them had the better festival. Now, it's a strange thing to say about a guy who's just had the 1, 2, 3 in the Irish Gold Cup, and he's taken 5 grade 1s from the meeting as well compared to Gordon's 2. But Il Était Temps was desperate. I think Kitzbühel was not going well when he fell. Lossiemouth never went a yard, I don't think, in the Irish Champion Hurdle, and it's to her credit that she finished second. Andadam didn't come forward. Poneros was fine, I guess. El Fabiolo fell at the back of the telly, having done all the donkey work. Final Demand was desperate, and so was Jimmy Desoy. There's just some of them, and it might just be that Willie Mullins is too big to fail, in the sense that he's got such a massive yard and effectively has 2 yards, that it sort of masks there's an underlying problem. But to me, Tom, there is an underlying problem there. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Well,
we get most years where Willie Mullins has the favourite for the Supreme Novice before it's even ran. There's plenty of times it's favourite. Min, Vautour, all them horses were favourite for the Supreme Novice before they ever ran.
Senawak.
And that to me, which one?
Senawak. Animix.
Yeah, but there was plenty of them that before they ran, they were favourite. I think it's probably a bit to do with they haven't had a standout either now. I was waiting all DRF to see if Old Park Star was going to do a Copec de Bourges and win by 15 lengths and be usurped by favourite for the Supreme. But after watching Leopardstown, he has a brilliant favourites chance. So we'll come on to him again.
Yeah.
But Willie's thing is that they aren't all performing at the degree he'd like them to be, and they usually do.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's entirely possible that they come good by the time the Cheltenham Festival comes around, but you've been listening to people now in a lot of different podcasts saying, oh, don't worry about the Christmas racing, they'll improve from there. That's not, Willie's horses are always in flying form at Christmas.
I've had this for 2 years. I've had it for 2 years where people say, they're only around the corner. They never get this far and be better in a month's time. Yeah. Remember, we've never, ever in my racing career had ground at Leopardstown like we've had.
Yeah.
So for them to come out of that better, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Or very few of them will. There will be some amazingly big shocks after the racing they've had there this weekend in the Cheltenham Festival.
Well, we'll talk in more detail about all the races, and we'll finish up the Irish Gold Cup in a second as well. And I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but you could argue that in the grade ones, Dr. Steinberg, Narciso Haas, Factile, Cade Doughty, Majborough, Brighterdaysahead, they all either led or they were ridden very prominently. And Jamie and I watched the bumper yesterday in horror with the two horses that we backed just been held up off the pace. It's like, we got no chance here, because it was there were horses that did make up ground. Talk the Talk is an example of it, but it was difficult to do. So do you think that this is form, just from an overall perspective for Cheltenham, do you think this Dublin Racing Festival form, which produced 7 individual Cheltenham Festival winners last year, can be trusted as much this time around?
Can it be trusted? Of course, they're good horses, yes. So it won't surprise me. I will be taking it a lot. I'll be taking a little bit more pinch of salt this time around because of the heavy ground.
And do you proceed with caution with some of Willie's horses, where some of them look like they're great, but others...
100%. But the only horse I won't back against is Narciso Haas.
Okay, we'll talk more about him in a little bit, and that's interesting considering the Majborough conversation's about to come as well. Where do you both think Gaelic Warrior goes? So if you had to put your money on it right now, when we saw Rich Ritchie and the owners and trainers yesterday, if we'd gone up to him, Jamie, I think Ryanair as well.
Ryanair.
Townend is going to want to ride him in the Ryanair, and Willie's going to want to have that race to win.
Yeah, and he's too hard on himself. He never dropped the bridle in Leopardstown, and he's too hard on himself to get 3.25 miles. He's got as much ability as any racehorse out there. He just doesn't know how to channel it at times. And I just think the 2.5. And the other thing I will say, when you read people, or you try to read people, like Willie Mullins puts the horses in the races he thinks he can win, not that they have a chance in, that he can win. And this year especially. That's why I think the Grey Mare will go for the Mare's Hurdle and not the Champion Hurdle.
100%.
So he's going to be absolutely beeline in races he can win. So he hasn't had a bad season. He's flowing at the end. Yeah. And that's how I see it. And you can get away with Yorkshire Stonewell in.
With the level of form that's been shown so far, and me speculating, Jamie, that things might not be all rosy in the garden of Willie Mullins at the moment, just given the fact that some of his horses have been disappointing. They're not machines. They're not all going to win. And it's Willie Mullins. He's always going to have heavy favourites. But the level of expectation at the start of the season was Willie Mullins is going to be champion trainer of the UK and Ireland again. And there's no guarantee he's champion trainer of either country at the moment. Like, it's going to take Gordon Elliott is an Irish Grand National win away from being champion trainer of Ireland. I think that's, if he wins that race, and he'll have a fair few chances of winning that.
And if the horse doesn't get in at Cheltenham, he has the winner of the Irish National. So there you go.
He's never come out of the DRF 488,000 in front of Willie.
I know there was a year where Willie had an awful lot of ground to make up on him going into Punchestown, and he did.
But also, I think the man has been thinking all about this year, and he has a lot of bullets to fire late on in the season with Gordon. A lot of better horses than he had that year as well.
Gordon.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the first year he can give it a rattle. Like, he might still get beat, but I can guarantee you the only person that's happy in all of this is Dan Skelton, because Willie needs to concentrate on Ireland, never mind England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the one thing he's not going to do is, yes, if he's in with a show, he's going to give it a rattle, but he'll be trying to, well, basically Dan and Gordon have been sending choice texts. You keep him busy there, and I'll keep him busy here. There's plenty of to-ing and fro-ing for the crack.
Dan Skelton's like Ken Watanabe's character in Godzilla in the meme. Let them fight. Just left the two boys tear each other to strips in Ireland, and there's nothing left for the UK. But listen, anybody who tells Willie Mullins you can't do it, that's when Willie Mullins comes along and ends up doing it. But just with the view to the Gold Cup, and we'll use the Racing Post ratings as a metric. The adjusted RPRs currently I know the way you're thinking is top rate. Well, you can forget him. Galopin Des Champs is second highest rated. Banbridge is third highest rated. No. Gaelic Warrior probably won't run. And then it's the Jukebox Man, which there'll be plenty of people who think he's very interesting. Jukebox Man, Django By.
He'll be strong. There's the horse I could fancy.
Django By.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
He will stay. He will stay.
I agree.
He will stay. When it gets dirty, he stay.
Yeah.
Didn't go fast enough. Nico de Bomblin came in off and McKempton saying it'll be a different story when we get the trip we need.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Grey Dawning is next on the list. I Am Maximus. The reason I'm saying this, guys, is because Factifile's not in the race.
Yeah, exactly.
And if Factifile was in, if David Casey got a lot of praise for Ethical Diamond winning the Breeders' Cup Turf because that was his idea to go out there. He was thrown under the bus yesterday by Willie saying David Casey took him out of the Gold Cup. They supplemented Another Way of Thinking last year to win it. I would be amazed if they don't supplement Factifile.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
He'll go there with a massive chance. And also, he's by Politigate, sire of the mighty Don Poli, one of the greatest staying chasers Michael Leary ever had.
That's tomato, polyglot.
Polyglot. We'll go with that. But he's also the sire of Sire de Burley. So he gets horses with stamina.
He gets a bit of both. Yeah.
And to be fair, Donncha Doyle has been saying all season that he'll stay the Gold Cup trip, or at least he'll stay 3 miles. So
Jesus, that doesn't give me much confidence if he's related to Don Slowly. Like,
he's not related, but he's by the same father. It doesn't mean he's related, obviously, in racing.
We'd all be quicker than that horse. Jesus.
Don't you be having a pop at Don Poli, the beloved Don Poli, moral winner of the Gold Cup.
You're only lucky that Gold Cup winner wasn't in that Novice Chase that year. Jesus, what was the name of that? Coney Gree wasn't in that. He had to beat Coney Gree to beat him by 40.
The Brown Advisory. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, spare a thought for me, having had the double on Don Poli and Jackadam. Just before we wrap this up, I thought Monty Starr ran a cracker with the view to the Grand National. And
I think that's
Maximus,
where I'd fancy him more.
Yeah,
Grand National.
Say the same about them. Does Galopin Des Champs have any chance of...
Stop. Whoa. Monty Starr for the Grand National.
No, that's where he's going. That's where he's going.
I know that. Oh, yeah, that's good to say. Yeah, you got me there.
We weren't tipping him, but he did run a very nice race with a view to entry. Captain Cody would be my pick for the Grand National right now, but that's another story for another podcast.
Yep.
I'm surprised I didn't get the "Would you be quiet" from Jaime Wrenn there. Does Galopin Des Champs have a chance in the Gold Cup?
I don't like how he's finished tamely twice now this year.
Yeah.
And it's not within, well, you would say it's not within definitely 10 pounds of his former runs at Leopardstown, or the zest. Now, maybe that might be ground. It might be grounds, dependent. There's such a soft, but he does go on it, but it can stop him, whereas he can freewheel on nicer ground. That might happen, but I'd be dubious myself, personally.
I would be too. I kind of get the feeling that Galopin Des Champs has a brilliant constitution, and that's been the defining factor of him. But people have been lured into a false sense of security about the Gold Cup because of Native River been beaten and it comes out and wins it. Aplutard beaten and it comes out and wins it. Album Photo won it back to back, and Galopin Des Champs. And those 4 horses have made people think, oh, it's easy. The Gold Cup breaks horses. Caught a Star is an exception. And Best Mate.
He lost it again.
But if you go back, he's the only horse in history to regain the Gold Cup crown. But if you go back to the year 2000 and look at the 1, 2, 3 of the Gold Cup and honestly see what the subsequent performances of those horses were, with the exception of Best Mate, Caught Star, Kicking King, Aplutard, it breaks them.
I know the way you're thinking. Look at that poor horse this year. As good as he was last
Brave Man's Game was gone.
Aplutard
had his head blown clean off after he won it.
Yeah.
The Native River was never the same horse after he won it.
They don't ever need to do much more, but you'd like to see a bit more. Yeah. But that's how good them horses are that can regain it and come back. We take it for granted sometimes watching them.
There's something weird about it in the sense that Might Bite was able to win the Grade 1 at Aintree. Jerry Colomb could do it as well. But then they just were never, like Might Bite was running in cross-country races afterwards. I just think they both left it behind. And it's somewhat masked by the fact that Galopin Des Champs won that Punchestown Gold Cup for the first time in 3 attempts. Yeah. I'd say they've both... They gave themselves too hard a battle that day, I think. And neither can be trusted. Okay. Would you back Factifile to win a Gold Cup at 4-1 with 1xBet in Ireland if he was supplemented? Tom Malone. Ground conditions permitting, of course.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I don't see anything else to beat him on that performance the other day, but I don't know if he's a thorough 3.25 mile stayer. So I'd have to say I'm going to do what I very rarely do in my life. Sit on the fence.
Oh, splinters for Tom Malone.
Honestly,
please.
no stakes. Honestly, I very rarely do it, but has he the class to do it? Yes. But would it surprise me to see something outstay him in the end? No. So I just don't know is the honest
That's
answer.
why I said Haughty Calor, and
I
was using him as an example. I'm not necessarily saying that's the horse will beat him. It's just that if it's going to be one of those Gold Cups where it's a dour stare prevails, I think that's the only way he gets beaten, is if he just doesn't.
I'd rather go for Django Bay to beat him, but he'll look like Factile will look like the winner everywhere, but maybe Django Bay outstays him in the end. I don't know. A bit like Mike Bite and Native River, the same scenario. Native River never looked like winning down the hill and then outstayed him in the end. So.
Yeah. Dour battle. Jaime Wrenn, 4-1 about Factile if he's supplemented.
Even if you give me a free bit with 1x bet, I wouldn't back him for the Gold Cup.
Okay.
It's a brave shout, Jamie.
I would back him.
Brave shout, man.
I would back him.
Brave one.
We will give the jockey his flowers as well, because they're very much deserved after an incredible weekend. But this episode is brought to you by 1xBet. If you're betting in Ireland, more than 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. And of course, anti-post betting for the Cheltenham Festival as well. Fast withdrawals, new customer sign-up offers. You can find out all about it by clicking the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website in Ireland. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Your game, your odds, your 1xBet. And we will have tickets to the 1xBet Grand National trial at Punchestown on Sunday week. Is it Sunday the 15th of Punchestown? I might be wrong about the date, but it's Sunday 2 weeks. Your chance to win VIP tickets to the 1xBet Grand National trial, where we might very well see the Grand National winner, Captain Cody, in action. I think he's going to win the Grand National this year. More on that to come, and details about how you can enter coming your way very, very soon. But you have to subscribe to the Final Furlong Podcast YouTube channel. So save yourself the hassle. Subscribe now so you never miss an episode. Mark Walsh was getting all the praise from Willie Mullins in the winner's enclosure afterwards. He said it was his idea to put the cheek pieces on Majborough. It was his idea to go to the front as well. He wasn't listening to any instructions anymore. He was going to go out and do his own thing. I think it was the same with Factile. And for a fella who apparently was only told the night before that the news got out that Harry Cobden was going to replace him, he is riding unbelievably well. And that's how you silence the doubters, Tom Malone. You go out and you win 4 Grade 1s the DRF. If he keeps this up, he'll be a very hard act to follow. But what did you make of Majbor in the Dublin Chase?
I thought it was class. It was absolutely class. And I suppose he rode like a man that knew it doesn't matter what I do now. Let's roll. Yeah. So actually, there's no pressure on because, at the end of the year, I don't have the job anyway, so it's irrelevant. What am I going to do? Lose the ride? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's like you rode like a man who was like, don't give a insert colourful language.
Yeah, but that horse, and it's not just hindsight, he's always needed that to happen, just to let him roll, instead of holding him on and waiting in the race, because he gets confused then. But once he's able to use his stride, he's a huge horse. Once he's able to use his stride, and maybe the pieces helped him concentrate whilst in front, he was devastating. And when he met in Leopardstown at Christmas time, when he was 18 pounds better racing post rating for soft ground and being rolling from the front. So if he gets his act together, he's gone up 10 pounds for winning at the weekend. If he gets rolling in the Queen Mother, there won't be too many seeing him, I can tell you that.
And he's always promised this. It was just a matter of was he going to do it. And if you watch the weekend preview, which hopefully you did, because we ended up doing quite well we did well on day one, Tom, I'm afraid. What became day one, the Sunday, I'm afraid the Saturday
now. Day 2, day 1, day 3.
The Saturday, Monday, I'm afraid it was not my best tipping performance. But Jake was all over Majborough. I said, now is the time he's going to do it. I was in the torture chamber tipping him, but I went with them.
I seen Majborough's brother. He's about to be unleashed in a point.
Have you made an offer yet?
No, well, I don't. I want to wait to see if he's as fast as his brother. Okay. But he looks fairly devastating.
So he's in Ireland, he's not in France?
No, he's in Ireland.
Okay. That's interesting. That's going to be very interesting.
He's a smart boy.
Here's the thing, Tom Malone. That's a massive performance. Now, I've seen wide margin winners going into the Cheltenham Festival before on the back of a wide margin win, and they don't always go and do it. And the Dublin Chase, for whatever reason, has a terrible record of winners in the Queen Mother Champion Chase. So El Fabiolo, for example, wide margin winner of this race, and we all know what happened there with him. Didn't Duvan take this race before he got beaten at Longaton in the Queen Mother Champion Chase? The margin for error in the Queen Mother is very, very slim. And we've seen this horse be a wide margin winner of the Irish Arkle and then get beaten in the Arkle itself.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that people are going to get a little bit too carried away with this? Or is this now, this is Majborough, and now he's just going to conquer everything?
Well, this is Majborough let loose, not held on to. This is Majborough allowed to use that big stride. He's probably not the cleverest when he's in tight. So he goes out and he lets fly. Now, it could be a fly or die type ride come Cheltenham, but what's going to beat him if he puts in a display like that at Cheltenham? What's actually going to beat him? What's good enough to beat him? Because he'll get them in trouble. If he can fly along fence to fence like that, obviously the pieces have made a big difference. What's good enough in that race now to beat him? That's the key. What have you seen that's good enough? Like, all right, he beats Marine Nationale 19 lengths. He's 3 years younger than Marine Nationale. I can't see how Marine Nationale is going to turn that form around. Then what's left? John Bond's a beautiful horse. Well, yeah. So you're back to Inothewurthinkin then, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
Well, his other horse, and he's got to come off the back of a fairly grueling thing, really. So, yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of others in it. Lord the Sud looks a lovely horse, but I doubt he's good enough, if I'm honest.
I wouldn't say he'd go past them anyway.
No, but even at that, he's gone past them more than I thought he would from his juvenile days.
Yeah, but Majborough clouted 2 fences and he still finished in front of Lord the Sud in the Arkle.
Absolutely, yeah. So now you get back to a point where if the horse rolls along from the front, they may not be able to get near him, and he should be fairly A-okay.
We'll come to Marine Nationale in a second, but I'd love to get Jaime Wrenn's thoughts on Majborough.
1, Chickpiece is a good idea. 2, he wanted to try and pearl on bottomless ground beating Cargiesi. I think he's just better on softer ground. That's just me. I think the quicker ground in the Champion Chase caught him out jumping the second last. No, he'd have won easy. We all know that, right? But that's still that doubt in your mind that if it's better ground, will he jump like he did out of the ground in Leopardstown? Will he do that the same at Cheltenham? Because exactly what Tom is saying, when he's gone that quick in a Champion Chase and it's better ground, he's not capable of putting in the clever leap. Do you know what I mean? To get him out of trouble where he absolutely clouts it like he did the second last year in the Yarker last year. I know he won by 19 lengths in Marine Nationale, and I don't understand what the jockey was doing in Marine Nationale because he doesn't not in love with heavy ground, and he actually killed him, I thought, to finish second. That was me, and I hope they have him room Marine Nationale now. Look, the only chance Marine Nationale is the ground is the same as it was last year. That's his only chance in the Champion Chase. After that, I'm the same. Like, Inothewurthinkin's record at Cheltenham is desperate, in my book. Lord the Sud is not a great one horse. Tisselast is not running. John Bond's going to the Ryanair. And I'm still happy with my 40 to 1 in Quicksillias first time out in the Queen Mother Champion Chase.
Yep.
So, it's thin on the ground. It's thin on the ground. But exactly what Tom says. I love this horse, Majborough. Do you trust him like a Factile to put it all in on the day at Cheltenham? That's the $1 million question, isn't it? But if he does that, what he did on the last day, if he does that in the Champion Chase, not going to beat him. No, I agree. Yeah, but
I think that's the avenue, is that he's allowed to freewheel in the Queen Mother, and I think there's less guess. I know it's quicker, but if he's rolling in front and let fly, he can squeeze him on and take the guesswork out of it. The cheek pieces obviously make him concentrate, and then he can squeeze on. I just see if he gets into a rhythm off the front end and jumps well, they won't see which way he went.
Yeah,
your heart is still going to be your heart's still going to be in your heart and your mouth. Second last,
100%.
The second last is your heart, because he kind of did that last year in the Arc. Like he did bowl along. But I thought last year, and this is no offense to Mark Walsh, I thought Mark Walsh thinks this is an absolute aeroplane and went too quick, and he didn't know what to do with the second last. That's what I saw. I thought, whoa, crap, we're going too quick here. But yeah, if he does that again, like, and he jumps around, he'll win. Like, he should.
You have a man riding possessed now, so
I know, yeah.
In his favour.
Yeah. He's a great jockey, Tom. Always said
he was always a great jockey. Always a great jockey.
Well, Paul Townend had 1 winner at the weekend. Harry Cobden had none. Sean Bowen had 1. Jack Kennedy had 4. But Mark Walsh's 4 were all in grade 1s. So
brilliant.
It's a pretty. I'm telling you, keep that up.
It's a leveler.
It's gonna be a tough act to follow if he keeps that form going. It was an incredible performance from him. Well done. But particularly, what I really like about him is you haven't heard anything from Mark Walsh. There's been no, oh, woe is me, or throwing the toys out of the pram, or lashing out at people in the media. Like, he's just kept his head down and gone and done the work.
That is why he's been part of that camp for 20 plus years.
Frankie Tight Lips would have it no other way.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You hear nothing.
Yeah. Which again is why I'm surprised the Harry Cobden news came out. I just don't understand what the point of it coming out was. Like, you're not going to have him till May. You're just destabilizing things. But look, it's put a fire under Mark Walsh's belly, and I don't think he's retiring. So Harry Cobden's going to be in the UK an awful lot. Why wouldn't Mark Walsh continue to ride the main ones in Ireland? Best of luck to him, whatever he decides to do. I'll just have a note of caution here. 1, the Queen Mother Champion Chase is a terrible record for favourites. 2, Majborough found a 50 was 21 and a quarter lengths behind Solness at the Christmas meeting, with Majborough just in behind Solness. And he's 19 lengths behind in this race. If found a 50 is the guide to this form, that's not actually much of a better performance from Majborough. It's just that Marine Nationale didn't go on the ground and Solness never went a yard. And it looks like it's incredible. And that's the one thing I'd say about this that would just make me go a little bit, is this really as good as it looked? Now, if it is, nothing will touch him. Jamie touched on something. I don't know what Sean Flanagan's doing. What does it matter if you're beating 28 lengths or 19 lengths? It's a grade 1. You're beaten anyway. Why are you giving him such a hard race to get up for second place? I didn't understand that at all. Hopefully the horse is all right. He's been backed into 2-1 today with 1x bet, but there's a long way to go between now and the race. Don't know why he was sent off favourite for it, but well, please God.
Understand actually. That's another point. I couldn't understand that. The money came from Marine Nationale.
Yeah, and also seriously, it didn't come from Majborough. Majborough drifted out, which I thought was interesting as well.
I was playing with the price I got him now.
Yeah, I'd say you were. I'd say you were very happy with the price you got about him. So look, we'll see if this is now Majborough. Then nothing will get near him. But please God, we'll talk to Barry Connell between now and Cheltenham. I just would have. There's just a slight note of caution in the back of my mind.
There is every chance, lads. He's just improving. He's only 6.
Yeah.
He is only 6. And he's 17 odd hands. And they take a bit of time. I know he's been running in France at 3, but there's times when it just doesn't. And then when it actually falls into place, wow.
And to be fair,
I know that time he's 17 hands. I could look him straight in the eye myself. Yeah.
Well, I can't. So there you go. Okay.
Found a 50, beat him in Cork. Now he's slamming found a 50 by 20 lengths. Like there's that way of looking at it too. It's just
I found a 50 beat him in Cork when he was race ready, and your man needed the run,
and he didn't like going right.
Galloped out through the last 2. Like, he done everything wrong to get beat, and a fit horse beat him. So I take that race with a pinch of salt.
Okay, odds against. Maybe that's the positive way of looking at it for Majborough. You can get bigger, but it's just in the back of my mind. We'll talk more about the Queen Mother Champion Chase in the coming weeks in the Final Front podcast. It was an epic performance from Majborough, but there's just a part of me is going, let's not go too mad. 7-4 is the price you can get about him with 1x bet for the Queen Mother Champion Chase. To the hurdlers, the Timeless Sash Windows Irish Champion Hurdle went to Brighterdaysahead. This is a huge training performance from Gordon Elliott. She had forgotten how to be a racehorse on the back of her Champion Hurdle run, and then arguably even worse at Punchestown when no match for Jade de Grugy. She comes back. They were talking about beginners chases and novice chases for this season. Clearly, Gordon looked at the Champion Hurdle division and went, well, Sergino has only raced 4 times since the juvenile hurdle win on Trials Day at Cheltenham, and he's missed the last 2 Cheltenham festivals, so no guarantee he gets there, and obviously the poor fella is now out for the season. Constitution Hill can't jump, and the new line is that form as good as it looks, and right now doesn't. So reinserting Brighterdaysahead into the Champion Hurdle division has paid dividends, because whatever happens at Cheltenham, she's an Irish Champion Hurdle winner. He deserves a lot of credit for that, I think, Tom, to get her back in form, but also to get her into the winner's enclosure in the 2-mile Grade 1.
He's always glowed about this mare to me, and she had a little issue after Cheltenham last year, which kind of they masked and try and got through it. Her last 2 runs last year, she was kind of not right, and if I'm honest, they done a little procedure, got that tidied up. She was definitely not busy for 2 or 3 weeks in the lead up to being second to Lossiemouth. And what Gordon was saying to me after that, in the lead up to the weekend, was striking about how different this mare was. He knew when he got within a length of her, having had the time easy, that he said, I will. He doesn't say much, he is also mindful, they're good mares, but this mare he knew, I'll reverse the positions here.
Some of the team on the final furlong were very confident that she would as well. George Gorman, Jake, I think Adam too. And look, she has, Jamie. She's comprehensively turned the form around. And there was a couple of races run at the Dublin Racing Festival that cleared up the picture for the Cheltenham Festival. And one of the things that became very clear is something we've been saying for a while, or at least Adam has. Lassiemouth is going to the mares, and that's 100% now. Brighterdaysahead, though.
What do you mean I didn't say it?
And a certain fella called Jaime Wrenn's been saying it as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I said it first.
And might have had the WhatsApp ready as soon as they crossed the line.
I understand that part.
Might have had the WhatsApp ready as soon as they crossed the line.
Run the champion hurdle.
But there's going to be plenty of people who will tell you, she doesn't act at Cheltenham and the siblings don't act at Cheltenham. Her brother, Caldwell Potter, won the Jack Richards Novice Chase last season. She should have probably won the Mares Novice Hurdle if they hadn't got into a tactical battle where the two jockeys were keeping an eye on one another on the two favourites.
She wasn't exactly beaten by a bad horse in Golden Ace that day.
Champion hurdle winner and fighting fifth winner, as well.
All right, maybe by default, but
yeah,
and if last year she was running with a hindrance, she's only had one day that she didn't really act around her.
But there's also another point to make, which is if you think that the current favourite for the race, the New Line, has got a chance in the race, all right, lads, let's say he would have won the fighting fifth. I wouldn't be so sure about that on a line through Nemean Line, given the fact that he could barely beat him getting weight from him. But let's say he did. He's not going to be far in front of Golden Ace, which means he's not far in front of Amsterdam. And she's buried Amsterdam twice now.
Amsterdam, to me, didn't run the same race. How he ran away with Patrick the first day, like he was unrideable and barely picked the bridle up the other day. So that's another horse now that could make people look silly in a minute. Because the run he had at the weekend wasn't near the run he was about to have at Leopardstown the last day, but for throwing it away himself. So to me now, that horse will pop up and surprise everyone someday. I don't know when it'll be. And when horses do that and then don't pick the bridle, that has been the case of a few of Willie's this year, doing lovely things and then not even picking. Like Jimmy the Sewell was one. He ran a lovely race first time out and then went to Limerick. He never picked the bridle up.
Yeah.
He bolted up at Punchestown, I think it was, or Fairyhouse one day, and then never picked the bridle up in Limerick at the Christmas. And then again, so there's plenty of horses like that. But when they do come back, that's the day they spring a surprise. I'm not so sure it'll be this surprise, but this is a very, very open champion hurdle now. Extremely open. For me, the New Lion, I thought he should have won by 3 or 4 lengths the other day if he was going to be a credible champion hurdle horse. Every horse can sprint, and 150 plus horses, they can all sprint for a prolonged period of time. They have ability, they're good. I just thought if he was really the mutts nuts over 2 miles, given he'd won over 2.5, if he was really good, he'd have won. Better.
The mutts nuts is a much more polite and eloquent way of saying the dogs B. So we might go with the nuts mutts instead from now on, actually.
Nuts mutts will do. We can get away with that.
For the younger listeners and the younger viewers of the show, do you give Amsterdam a quiet chance in the champion hurdle then if things were to fall right for him? And what do you think needs to fall right for him? Does he need a strongly run race?
No. I think he's always been a bit of a talking horse for me personally, okay? He's looked special on days. And then how can you trust a horse that's unrideable one day, didn't pick the bridle up the next? To me, no, I don't. There are far better options for it. But I could see him slotting into something very nice one day and then winning that race. I just don't know if it'll be a champion hurdle.
Yeah, I think he's just a busted flush, to be honest.
There's no doubt, but he'll slot in somewhere someday and it'll all just fall right for him.
Put him in the county hurdle off 156. Put him in the county hurdle off Arctic Fire one off 158. Put him in the county hurdle. He doesn't have to think about it off a fast pace.
Drop in last and come through. Okay, so that's what I was trying to allude to without saying it. He'll drop in a handicap someday at 16-1 when everyone's kind of forgotten about him, and it'll just fall right, and he'll just go.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't get the ability of a horse round very often in Willie Mullins.
Yeah, and they've thought an awful lot of him since he was a juvenile hurdler. Like he was their Triumph Hurdle horse at one point.
Absolutely. He's been their Triumph Hurdle, Champion Hurdler, I'd say Gold Cup horse in the future if they get that far. But anyway.
World Cup winner, County Hurdle winner. Champion Chaser.
He missed 2 Cheltenham festivals as well. He missed the Triumph Hurdle and Champion Hurdle last season, although, to be fair, Willie was talking about him for the Entry Hurdle last season instead. Irrespective of... Can Brighterdaysahead win the champion hurdle, Jaime Wrenn?
I'm not the forgiving type, Emmet. I'm not, and I you know that I'm not the forgiving. I was absolutely all over her last year. Now I'm at a Sunday. Sorry, my days are not mixed up because that DRF have moved from Sunday to Monday. But Sunday I met a fella inside the owners and trainers who I respect as a judge, and he said to me, "Jamie, you loved her, don't you?" I said, "I do, yeah, I do, yeah. She will not get up the hill at Cheltenham." That's what his exact words. I'm not going to mention names or anything like that. I know him very well. And he said to me, he said, "She won't get up the hill. Don't be fooled by her." And I said, "Do you know what? You're right." And I just don't think she'll get up the hill at the Cheltenham. She looked like she's going to be the winner this year. I will say that. She looked like the winner turning in. I just have that nagging doubt. And if the new line is next to her, no. She won't beat the new line for speed. Not a hope in hell. Not a hope in hell.
No.
Look at it now. As you say, it's a wide open champion hurdle. I understand that part. But exactly what you're saying, Evan. Constitution kind of jump. Last team out won't go there. Golden Ace is the most luckiest mare I've ever seen in my life. Anam is a handicapper. And then you're at 20-1 to who we said all along, put him. If you look at it now, who's Paul Townend's ride in the champion
Ballyburn.
hurdle? There you go.
Has to be. It's hardly.
No.
Poneros, by the way, is into 16-1 for the champion hurdle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, the third thing is one horse only went to Nevin, and will Willie Mullins put in one horse into the Arkle, one race in the Arkle, will he get switched and supplemented for the champion hurdle as Kopek to board? So if I tell you one thing, if they put Kopek to board in the champion hurdle, I know who I'd be backing for the champion hurdle. I was taking the mick out of Adam Mills a couple of weeks ago, but now I'm after seeing the light. So, yeah. But all jokes aside of that, I think the winner at the moment is the new line. I'm still happy. I backed that horse when I got a price last year after the Turners. When he opened after the thing, I got 10-1. I never ever cashed it. It was my first anti-boast bet at the Cheltenham Festival last year for this year. I'm like, I see a lot of people, I heard a lot of people in the stand after the race, and they all said, after all, 1, he's not a 2-miler. 2, he's a stairs hurdle horse. And 3, now they've all gone 360 and goes, there's only one winner of the champion hurdle, that's the new line. So, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was saying all along, I told you that. But no, and the only thing I think, if Ballyburn, we've been speaking about that, obviously.
Yeah.
Ballyburn out in front of the champion hurdle, I like to see the horse that'll catch it. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think surely Ballyburn comes into this as well, and 20-1, is definitely a great price each way. But
I'd be slightly concerned. I'd be slightly concerned that he missed the Irish champion hurdle because I don't understand.
But it's the Red Mills on Saturday, isn't it?
It is. Does Goran Park seem like?
That'd be very interesting if he is.
Yeah, does Goran Park over 2 miles seem like that's going to suit Ballyburn? Don't know, but look, it'll be soft ground enough for him, and he still have 4 weeks to recover.
Yeah. So you'd want to kind of see him maybe this Saturday in the Red Mills, and then he won't be 20-1.
Right now, Townend's mount right now is Poneros, which is probably why he's a 16-1 shot. I suspect his mount is actually Ballyburn. And on the front end, now you look back at some of his novice hurdle form.
Poneros has no chance in the champion hurdle.
Lads, he has 12 pounds to find with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's the kind of year. It's the kind of year where you're saying that afterwards and going, "Oh yeah, but of course."
Yeah, but then you have the 5-year-old winning the champion hurdle, which is also very rarely done.
Yeah,
very rarely done.
Yeah.
There's been
Catch It, the last one.
Catch It was one of them. Yeah.
No, the Gavin Cromwell horse. Espoir de Len.
Yeah, Espoir de Len. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's grand, but I wouldn't be fancying him much now.
No, I wouldn't either. He shaped fine, and he got past Amsterdam towards the end of the race. But I mean, he's 14 lengths off of Brighterdaysahead, who's going to improve again. You would think. I think she is interesting for the champion hurdle, and I would be very. I don't know if I want to back her at 11-4, Tom, but I wouldn't be dismissive of her, and I think this year she'll go in with a better chance than last year.
You definitely can't be dismissive of her. You can leave last year behind with given what Gordon has told me. So I have to accept what one of the best Irish trainers we've known is saying, and he was proven right. So you've got to leave that. Then you go back to saying, well, should she have beaten Golden Ace the year before? You probably think, well, yeah, if you're going to be a real one down the line, maybe you should have. But she hasn't exactly let the form down being a good 155-60 mare, has she? And when you go steady in them championship races, it is a job, no matter how good you are, to sprint past something that's sprinting anyway.
Yeah.
It's only when they go a proper gallop that the real ability of them Grade 1 horses can spread eagle horses. Now, that's where the new line will come into his own, is that your Hardy Eustace, your 2 Mile 5 horses coming back to a staying champion hurdler. If they go a gallop, Dan's horse has a major chance. If they don't, Brighterdaysahead will outsprint him. She will outsprint him. Absolutely.
Oh, I'd have to disagree with you there, Tom.
Well, I mean, this is what this podcast
it's a game of it. I understand that.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, but the new line couldn't outsprint me online just about
getting
the
weight.
Other day.
Yeah, but Dan was holding a bit. He was holding it.
That's fine.
Come on,
that's
man.
absolutely fine.
Brentford Hope was 10 lengths behind Constitution Hill in the Beulah a year ago, and now he's.
I wasn't watching it on a screen. I was there. I saw it.
What, you think I wasn't there as well? I was down at the last hurdle. I tell you one thing, I was closer to their breath than you were. I know,
because I saw you there, because I could see you.
Tom Malone dropping bombs here on Jaime Wrenn. Okay, we're going to talk about the novice hurdlers in a second. First of all, this episode is brought to you by 1xBet. If you're betting in Ireland, if you're betting on the Cheltenham Festival, you can sign up now by clicking the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website. More than 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. The official betting partner of the European champions, Paris Saint-Germain, official betting partner of Barcelona FC as well, and the betting partner of Punchestown for the 1xBet Grand National Trial, which is later this month. Your chance to win VIP tickets to that meeting, and lots of racing at the Curragh all summer long as well for the flat season. Fast withdrawals, new customer sign-up offers. Click the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. 1xBet knows the crack. Bet with your head, not above it. In a time 14 seconds slower than Brighterdaysahead, Talk the Talk manages to get up and win, and it looked as though Ballyfad had held on for a second. But Talk to Talk does get there for JJ Slevin. It's a Grade 1 win when he looked like he was going to win a Grade 1 the time before. It's Leopardstown form coming to the fore again with two horses who were very active in Leopardstown races at Christmas. I was a little bit surprised to hear Gordon Elliott say that they're going to go for the Supreme at Ballyfad, and maybe he'll change his mind, but Talk to Talk is definitely going to go there. How big a danger is he to your horse, All Park Star?
I think he's the one that came out of Dublin. I was waiting through all of Dublin to see what they had to offer. Like last year, Kopek went and blitzed, but on far different ground, which allows a horse of their ability to roll on and be a supreme 10-length plus winner. Whereas that ground the other day, I think he done best of them all to make up 3 or 4 lengths when they were all quickening off what you have now described as a slow pace. So he probably comes out with the most merit. But I doubt Old Park Star was shaken in Seven Barrows, worried about what he'd seen. And they'd had a hard race whilst he was stretching his legs.
That's fair.
Hopefully come the Supreme Novice, we have the best horse.
That I think that's fair. I'm pretty sure Nicky Henderson is going to be going there full of confidence, Jaime Wrenn. But we'll talk about we'll talk about Old Park Star on another day. It's just interesting to get Tom's reaction given the fair improvement that horse has had as well, and one of the horses that you acquired in Old Park Star.
Yes, we bought him as a store off Norman Williamson, so he's always been thought highly of, and he's now starting to prove it.
The Royal Bond form, Jimmy, has worked out really well, and Cocktail Brute bounces back to form after bleeding at Christmas. He finishes 4th, hit the second that day, finishes 5th, and those two horses are no match at all for Talk the Talk, Ballyfad, and King Rasco Grey. I think the front 3 can all be regarded very highly. If King Rasco Grey settles better, he'll be interesting, but Ballyfad ran a stormer. I think going up and trip is the thing for him. He should go for the turners in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
And giving the cruising speed of Talk the Talk and his finishing effort, he's very interesting for the Supreme.
Yeah, I think he's massively interesting. At the moment, I suppose he's the biggest danger to Old Park Star. I thought the last week at Thurles, like, you just can't trust El Kairos. Like, you just be afraid of the inexperience. To be honest with you, I thought if he had more, if he, like, say he had I don't know, what could I say about El Kairos? It's like he's just not there yet, if you know what I mean, where Old Park Star has proven that he is there yet, if that makes sense. Because I think the following year, like, I think Old Park Star is going to chase him, where I think El Kairos, because will be in a champion hurdle this time next year, I think, and you'll be talking to him as a champion hurdler. Yeah, without a doubt. So I think at the moment I'd leave El Kairos go. Now he can make a fool of all of us because I think I know what Tom said is Paul Parks are so quick now. I think El Kairos is just a rocket. But it's just holding that rocket to be more an experienced horse. But talk at the moment is the only danger to Old Park Star from what I've seen, because he came from miles back in it. Miles back. I didn't think he was going to get there, and he got there. Now, some people keep saying that he didn't get there, but fair enough, he did get there. Ballyfadge, I agree, Turner. King Rasco, great. I'd say Turner's as well. I don't know what I'd be in love with him for Turner's. Cocktail Bruton, Blake ran well, but because I think it was the background. Le Devon on Font, I don't know what to make of that. Starting 15 was alright. Switching Diesel. Davy Crockett is probably a county horse. The Reverend, I don't know what happened to him. You don't see it in the bend, but probably not good enough anyway. I think this is a great boost, really, to the horse that Talk to Tom fell at Christmas, the Skylight Hustle. And that's who I really like for the Turners. Because Gordon has said in an interview at Christmas on RT that I think El Kairos is our 2-miler. Ballyfad, I don't know what to do with him yet. And then he said, Skylight Hustle, I think we'll go up and trip. So, look, the form has been frank, kind of, like to talk Skylight Hustle. They're two good horses going forward, Emmet. But he still talk has to be the Old Park Star. Yeah, I know, all knowing what I've seen. But I think the better horse going forward for next year will be El Kairos. Yeah.
What do you make of El Kairos, Tom?
I love him. I love him. When he won his point to point, he showed something that most point to pointers don't. Was the speed he's showing now. Yeah. But he's 16 hands, and Paul doesn't like that sort of horser. It's not typically his 3-mile chaser. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah. But I love the horse. He showed something that day. And obviously when he went on, Maxwell bought him, done what he done, and looked a good bumper horse. And when he went back, I know he made a lot of money, but was he a lot of money? Actually, we pay 400 grand for a point of pointer. This lad was proven speed, what most horses don't have. And he'll be fine. I get what you do. The speed he was going down the other day at Thurles, it was pleasure to watch, it was. Whereas the reason I think I haven't had too many really novices. Unviolent was probably the last one to do this sort of thing as his novice hurdle. I haven't had a horse win 12 and 18 lengths in 2 novice hurdles. You know, it's unheard of. Unviolent was the last one to look like that in a race. So that's how rare it is. But he looks like a handicapper doing it.
Yeah.
He gets to a jump and he operates. It's not a guesswork. It just happens. He runs at it, he lands running, he goes away. And he looks like a big stare, but he's got everything beaten behind him. So there is a point where he's going to get good horses like that in trouble without even thinking he's in trouble himself. And that's maybe the brilliance of the horse. I don't know. Only time will tell. And remember one thing, his brother was Well Chosen, who was a Grand Annual winner. So the pedigree doesn't lack for pace. You know, he's actually bred to be a speedy sort of horse, looking like a 3-mile chaser. Chosen Mate, yeah.
Chosen Mate, yeah. I was just coming on. I said, when chose that? Not Chosen Mate. I don't know when. Yeah.
Chosen Mate. That's his brother.
Yeah. I had.
But he didn't lack for pace.
I just talking to some of the odds. Just talking to some of the odds competitors before we came on the air, because I was amazed that Gordon had come out and said at the DRF, El Kairos and Ballyfad will go both for the Supreme. And I'd said to one of them, I hadn't got a chance to say it to you boys before we recorded, but I'd said to a couple of the odds competitors I was talking to this morning and this afternoon, I'd be amazed if Gordon doesn't change his mind and go for the Turners with Ballyfad. And he was 10-1 with 1xbet. And as we're recording, he's been cut into 7-1 across the board. And I wonder, has that change been made already? Because the Skylight Hustle, and it was a massive vote of confidence for Skylight Hustle, as is the performance at Talk to Talk as well. I do think it's worth pointing out, like, they were 14 seconds behind Brighterdaysahead. Whether you want to view that as a massive positive for her or a negative for him, open to your own interpretation. But I loved that bumper performance from Ballyfad at, was it Punchestown? When he was headed by 2 horses and he looked set to be beaten, and suddenly he rallies, becomes roaring back and gets up to win. And the performance at Christmas where he buries leader Dallier, who has obviously come out and won. Now, he was a long odds on favourite, but still he won. For him to go on his second hurdle start and finish second in the Grade 1.
He's a
leader Dallier.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come back to him. Let's deal with Ballyfad first of all. Like, no drama this end. Lovely horse, and obviously he's yours as well. And he has done nothing wrong and deserves to be favourite, and he will go off favourite for the Turners. But Ballyfad has, in my mind, a fair bit of potential to improve. He's by the same sire as Jasmine Defoe. Going up on trip could unlock improvement for him. I really like him for the race, Tom.
Yeah. Listen, you can't knock what you've seen. And he does shape like a horse that the step up and trip will suit him. I suppose, no drama this end, you're going to see a completely different horse come Cheltenham. His Challow didn't look impressive, did it? It looked a little bit all out. But remember, he'd ran 3 weeks after his first and second run and 3 weeks again. And between his second and third run, he'd had a little slight niggle that they were nursing to get to the Challow. So you're going to see a bigger, stronger animal. Whether that's good enough or not now come March is another thing, but he's the best English have, and he has that cruising speed to be able to get horses in trouble as well. And he's acted around Cheltenham already. That's a big thing.
And Nicholas has been incredibly confident about him all along, and to be fair, he's passed. Yeah. I think the form is in question a little bit, but he's passed every test so far.
The last day you could pull holes through it, and the Challow form into a Neptune then as well is even more. So he's got for a favourite, he's got more hurdles to jump through than he should. Yeah, is my way of looking at it, if I'm honest.
If anybody is listening and they're doing the related contingency double on Talk the Talk and Ballyfad for the Supreme and the Turners, assuming that Gordon does decide Ballyfad should go for the Turners, I wouldn't put anybody off that. You're getting 5-1 and 7-1 about two horses that should, if they run their races, they should place, and there's a fair old chance that they might improve enough on the day and go and win.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on the 2 mile novice hurdle before we switch up and trip?
Quite good. Leader Dahlia, I thought, was one that we've seen it a few times, that he improved a lot from his first to his second run. He's only a 5-year-old. And it does happen. Do you know what I mean? You can see horses just making that. We've had 33-1, 40-1 shocks in the Supreme Novice before. Horses mainly like him, really, that have just gone from strength to strength and run to run. It's more of a lively outsider than a big chance.
Okay. The Nathaniel Lacey and Partners Solicitors Novice Hurdle. Only one winner has gone on to win at the Cheltenham Festival in the last 10 years. That was Let's Dance in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. But latest exhibition, the poor old fellow went super close against Monkfish, and he probably had an impossible task on the day, in fairness. Dr. Steinberg was a wide margin winner. We were pretty bullish about him on the show. I didn't think it took a huge amount to find him. His form had obviously worked out quite well. It's a Willie Mullins novice hurdler. He should be improving from first to second start and on the front end under Paul Townend. He was going to take an awful lot of beating, and that's how it panned out. He's buried Kaczynski. It's a pity county final couldn't back that form up in the handicap hurdle, but what can you do? Where does he rank for you as a Cheltenham contender, Tom? And does the potato race, the Albert Bartlett, make more sense to you?
I would have thought so. He looked all over Gordon's horse and got better. And each run, he beat Frankie John, who's come out and been a solid animal after that. The Devil, went over and won the River Don in Doncaster. So his form is rock solid. To me, he's a lovely, lovely animal. And they've got to go there with a major claim in winning it.
Yeah, Jasmine Devoe was well beaten in this race a year ago before a good friend of the show, Daryl Jacob, was telling us that, he's improved massively. They've got the jumping technique sorted and he'll go and win. Jasmine Devoe was able to come out of this race and win an Albert Bartlett. Can Dr. Steinberg make it 2 from 2 in Grade 1 company and remain unbeaten in 3 starts over hurdles? Is he the one they all have to beat in the Albert Bartlett now for you, Jamie?
He probably does, Emmet, because of exactly what Thomas is. The form is being franked from the River Don. I see some people, like, he's 7-1 over the Turners, isn't he? So yeah. I can't see that myself. I think the better, like, he had him all, regardless if it was 2.5 miles, he had him all in trouble. You could see he was the winner a long, long, long way out. I don't know. Like, if you look at it, really, bar Mighty Park, but that's McManus, who's going to be Paul Townend's right in the Turners? So, that could happen too. There is obviously Masco Gray, maybe, but Dr. Steinberg, I don't know. To me, I always thought he's better being over Bartlett, but yesterday I thought he showed a lot that he could be a Turner's horse too. So I don't know. I'm only guessing. But you saw a lovely run from a horse in third for the Merton Pipe, and I will say no more after that. Love me tender. Yeah. So yeah. But no, with Dr. Steinberg, I would hold tough till the field with the Bartlett and the Turners. Yeah, he's good horse. There's no doubt about that.
Well, there's one bookmaker going 7-2 about him for the Turners, so maybe that is the race they're going to go for with him. But I would have thought they learned the lesson last year with Final Demand that actually you probably want to go up and trip.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree, but I don't know what to.
Love me tender. Did they not have to run 5 times in hurdles to
He
qualify.
has run 5 times. He has run 5 times.
No, 4 over hurdles.
Ooh. I thought everyone said 5.
No, I said 1 running a bumper with it, 1 and then 4 hurdle races.
Oh,
yeah,
crap.
the 4
That's
hurdle
what Noah was
starts.
doing. That's what Noah was doing. No one counted that she was pulled out on the 30th of November. Yeah, that's what it was.
Can he throw that in as the 5th one, even though he didn't?
Put that out, Emmet.
Frankie Tightlips is going to have to sneak in a little run between now.
Yeah,
Pull him up at the first. Get Harry Cobden on him and pull him up
run.
at the first flight. That's enough. You just have to line
You know
up. That's it.
what? Pull him up. He'd nearly need to win 138.
Yeah, just to make sure he actually gets in. Yeah,
Gets in.
There's a few of those Mullins horses actually that.
See,
few of those JP horses I should be saying that.
There's what you'd nearly be concentrating on, the likes of them, because they're going to have so many runners there, and there'll be horses bouncing in at prices that people will say, well, he didn't run great for his last 2 runs, X, Y, and Z, and then bounce in.
Yeah, you need to be looking at horses like Jimmy DeSoy type that are very lightly raced. I mean, he came back on seasonal debut and won the Curl Cup. Horses that are qualified and suddenly could show massive improvement for first start in a handicap. They're the ones to be keeping an eye on. Okay, we'll go for the novice chasers because I think Dr. Steinberg was just in a league of his own. The rest of them weren't up to it. But he's very, very interesting wherever he goes at Cheltenham. Whether it's if you were to call it now, Tom, where does he go? Turner's or Albert Bartlett?
Oh, I'd say Turner's probably.
2.5.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just think, I don't know. My own thing is when you get to them staying 3-mile trips, French breds aren't brilliant at them. They win, I get that. I'm just saying, once you get to them extended 3-mile trips, that's where the Irish breds come in. Whereas the Dr. Dinos of this world, like Dr. Dino has the most horrific record in point of points in Ireland. Why? Because they're 3 miles.
Yeah.
Whereas on the track, 2.5 miles, they're brilliant at. So if I was to say right now, and someone said there's 100 quid with you, I'd go straight to the Turners.
I would too.
Yeah, I'd be thinking that way.
He's very free as well. That's not going to help him stay 3 miles.
And that's not going to happen. We've had more 25-1 winners of the Albert Bartlett. Why? They spit it out and they stay strong.
Yeah.
Big player in it. They call me Hugo.
Elaborate further, please.
He's 50-1.
And why would you be saying big player?
Because I trained him to win a point and sold him to the boys, and he was touched off in Cheltenham in a grade 2 where he didn't get a clean run. He's a big backward baby. He's still only going forward. He did get beaten by Monegaro in Windsor, a track that wasn't to his favour. And if he'd have hit him 3 around the backside from the home turn, he may have outstayed him anyway. This horse is being gunned for 1 day and 1 day only. He could just be a lively outsider in a race like that. He jumps, he gallops, and he'll stay all day. So there's a little sneaky 50-1 shot.
We'll see now if it stays at 50-1. They call me
take
Hugo.
him off the Flying King. I'd take him off the Flying King, Tom.
Yeah, but the Flying King doesn't like going past. That's the difference. Whereas
the Flying King needs. To me, I think Flying King needs better ground than what it ended, but his form is better.
Okay. You like making excuses for these lads that finish second.
Yeah. And They Call Me Hugo was in that race with Conman John, who Adam Mills is still a big fan of for the Albert Bartlett race, and he was
look at that race. That race was run at a crawl, and if you look back at it, Sean Bowen tried to go for a run and got squeezed. He had to come around and go on. Now, you wouldn't naturally say it's great form for the Albert Bartlett because it was high 130s form, but this horse is getting better with each run. So once you start getting up high 130s, early 140s, and you really stay the Albert Bartlett trip, you're then a player.
And the horse who beat him the last day, Monegaro, first of all, had form with your horse, Stick to the Plan, in the Persian War, and has form with No Drama This End as well.
He does.
50-1 about the Doyen Gelding, They Call Me Hugo. Doesn't need any further explanation. Tom Malone is telling you to get stuck in. Gamble responsibly.
Emmet,
gamble responsibly.
Stop. Yes, Emmet.
Gamble responsibly.
Stuck in and each way bet are 2 different things.
Willie, don't go anywhere near the potato race. You've got no chance.
Please.
There's an Ollie Murphy horse there that has that sorted out.
Yeah.
And anyway, you have too much speed. Just run him in the Turners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it probably makes more sense actually that he does go to the intermediate trip and see can he go 2 better than Final Demand did a year ago. That's Dr. Steinberg. That's the novice hurdlers. We'll switch to the novice chasers, which got off to a fantastic start. for me, with Kate Doughty winning and getting the best out of another fantastic ride from Mark Walsh. Final Demand was pretty desperate. Jimmy DeSoy was even worse. Let's deal with the winner first of all and give him his flowers. So Kate Doughty is a horse that I really liked for this race. Tommen was pretty confident he was going to run a big race. I wasn't absolutely adamant that he was going to beat Final Demand, but I thought he was overpriced in the context of the race. I didn't like what I saw from Final Demand in the Faugheen Novice Chase. So hopefully some people followed us in on the Final Furlong podcast and in the One Expect blog for that matter as well. Do you want to back him for the Brown Advisory though? Now that he's 4-1.
No. I think he's nice, there's no doubt about it, but you can't merit that form of being very strong. As good as he was, Final Man didn't take a cut at any fence, skewed in the air. The one thing he's done all his life is jump like a buck, and I think he was underwhelming in Limerick at Christmas time. I accepted it. Now, how can you win a Grade 1 and be underwhelming? But it's not the flair that he has shown in the past. And then the other day, he just looked like a horse. There was something tweaking. And, you know, he fell out of the screen, missing. He didn't take a cut. And then when Paul did get squeezing on for one, he skewed in the air like a horse that was in a little bit of discomfort, let's say. And then Western Fold was never going to be second and stayed on past him to get close on. He was kind of tying up in front. It doesn't rate me as a proper Grade 1 novice chase. I should be backing this for Cheltenham, and that's only where I sit on that.
Yeah, I'm sitting with a docket of 28-1 on this guy for the Brown Advisory because
that's a different one than 4-1.
Yeah, exactly. But the point I'm going to make is that after we talked about the race on the Final Furlong, I'd said you could go for the Johnny Deneen angle of Final Demand is even money for the Brown Advisory, and this fellow's 28-1, and that means they're in a different league. And I just looked at it and went, I'll take the 28-1, thanks very much. But I don't like him at 4-1 for the race. If you've followed us in, then that's fantastic. That's great. But look, the form with Kitspool from the Chase debut worked out really well. The Enabler, obviously, has advertised that form as well. Subsequently, I wouldn't be dismissive of him by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that the Cheltenham contest is going to be a much different one, Jaime Wrenn, and that Brown Advisory picture just becomes very confusing now. Final Demand, I'd almost take the attitude with him that if you liked him before at even money, you should love him at 3-1 because that can't possibly be his true running.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. It's in 5 weeks to skew the way he felt at fences the other day. I don't think they'll change that. If it was next year, that'd be a different story. But I don't think they'll turn that around. Yeah. And he may not even run there. There you go.
Here would be and it's a slightly different thing.
It was my first thought, Tom. Actually,
it's a slightly different thing. But Gaelic Warrior looked like a shadow of a racehorse when he was beaten in this, and he came back and won the Arkle that season.
It's the other side of it.
That's the 2-horse. That was the 2-horse race where he fell over at the last, wasn't it?
Yeah, but sure, I mean, it might as well have been a 1-horse race because Gaelic Warrior was never going to that race.
And I get that, but that was in a year when he was one of only a handful of horses that disappointed all year for Willie Mullins.
That's a fair point. And that goes to a wider question of why are so many of these, like there's somebody, I've forgotten his name and I apologize to you, but this regular listener and viewer comments in the YouTube section almost every week about how his Willie Mullins system is still working well, and his Willie Mullins system is just lay all the odds on favourites trained by Willie Mullins, and he's making a fortune out of it, and well done to you. I mean, he made another fortune over the weekend. Like, for whatever reason, some of them just aren't firing. It's a difficult thing to be able to put your finger on. Okay, Kate Doughty and his prospects for the Brown Advisory and Final Demand. You both are very negative on Final Demand by the sounds of things.
Negative on that performance of, yeah, all right, if they find a problem, he most likely may not turn up at Cheltenham. Like, that'll be a big shock to being favoured. But I couldn't back him given how he jumped it's not ground, because even if it was ground, he'd have done the first 3/4 of the race flying from fence to fence, and then it would have become a problem. But this horse never jumped from the flagfall. Well, he never carried him.
It was heavy ground when he made what was supposedly the greatest chase debut in the history of horse racing.
100%. So that's why I was just saying, no one can come on now and say it's ground, and he didn't. At no stage through that race did he look comfortable. And at no stage, if you'd backed him, if you were a massive odds-on backer at 100 to 30 on, would you have been happy? There's not a place you'd have been happy. And I just take that whole race with a pinch of salt for me now.
Yeah. On the positive side for Kate Doughty, the cheek pieces obviously worked to good effect. They tried him over hurdles. and it got him the win at Punchestown. He was given a really good ride by Mark Walsh as well. He's only a 6-year-old. He's a year younger than Final Demand, and he might just be a horse who's improving. But I don't know about taking 9-2 about him for the Brown Advisory. I need to think a bit more about that, Jamie. What's your thoughts on the Brown Advisory and that race overall? And does Western Fall come into it for you now on what would hopefully be better ground for him at Cheltenham if he gets it?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, you're taking the words out of my mouth there in a roundabout way. That because the way he ran on and he wouldn't be in love with the ground, I think the better ground, he'll reverse the form with Kate Doughty. I would agree with you there, yeah, because I think Kate Doughty needs that ground to be seen at his best. He's got a big high knee action and his leg goes in circles and he loves that type of ground. And he was impressive, there's no doubt about that, but you could see you were never happy with Final Demand. That was not the horse you saw in Ace. But it's exactly what Tom said, it's 5 weeks to Cheltenham now, it's not 6 weeks, so I'd be worried about him, really worried. The Big Westerner, I would back the Big Westerner to beat Kate Doughty on this ground over 3 miles. That's just me. But it has to be that type of ground you saw at Leopardstown the weekend at Cheltenham. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wendigo will come into it as well, because I don't think he was in love with Kempton, and he'd be better left-handed. But is he quite good enough? Western Fold, yeah, better ground, the 6 mile bridge. Romeo Cooley, what they're going to do with him. Does Cocktail Divins really stay 3 miles? Kitzbühel the weekend, I don't think he's in love going right-handed, that's just me, but he never looked like he was going. So he comes back into the left-handed on better ground as well. Kappa G Pike, the form was franked with Jacob Stader the weekend and the handicap. So it's wide open. There's loads there, Emmet. Am I nailing my colours to the mast? Not at the moment, no. But if on the better ground experience, and the way he came home against Kate Doughty, a horse that was never in my radar, Western Fold, with his rating. I know ratings are there just to be seen, but sometimes. But he definitely come on in a better ground at the moment. But that's just a very tentative guess now at the moment. I haven't decided yet, and I'll be honest with you there.
Yeah, we'll be doing a few anti-post specials for the Cheltenham Festival, and we'll have done a full deep dive into the Brown Advisory and all of the other major grade ones between now
I'll
and
just
then.
say one thing before we get into Romeo. I think Davy Russell is right with Romeo Coolio. Keep him to 2 miles instead of doing 3 miles this year. A lot of Gold Cup horses have come from an Arkle. Just put him in the Arkle and then step him up and next year. That's just me at the moment.
We'll talk more about that in a second. I don't think that horse has got any chance of winning at Cheltenham, but that's another conversation for a little bit. Oscar's brother is apparently going to run this weekend.
I'm with you. First time I'd ever agree with Emmet Kennedy, by the way, Tom. Hello, neighbour.
He's the one now who would interest me at the moment. And he's a big old price for the Brown Advisory. We want to see what he does at the weekend, but 25 to 1 is the price with 1xBet.
For?
And he's only 25 to 1 because of the boys
Oscar's
that
brother.
own him. Or train him, Conor Ring,
Yeah.
Conor King. If he'd be a lot shorter. For the tuppence worth that it is, I think Jamie Snowden's been doing a fabulous job with Wendigo.
Yeah.
And I think he is a big player to be placed and may pick up the pieces. Because the one thing he is solid. He was going to be third in the Albert Bartlett last year for getting murdered on the bends. And all he's done is improve for a fence. Doesn't go right-handed and still got within 3 lengths of Kitzbühel in the Cato Star and went for a nothing race so he'd have the qualified runs up last week. That's a player now. He is a player because he jumps, he stays. The ground won't be a factor to him. To me, he is a player. There's no doubt about it at the price. He's an each way bet to nothing in my eyes because we have ran that horse since we've got him. What have we ran him? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's been out of the money once in his life for us, and that was when he got murdered in the Albert Bartlett. He should have been placed. So he's never been out of the money for us when he's ran, ever. That is the most solid animal we have in the yard. And I kept saying to Jamie, I said, Jamie, we need to be looking at the handicaps for this. We need to get him into the runs because we're not taking on Final Demand. And Jamie says, as brilliant as Captain is, as I call him, Captain Snowden, you just relax now and take your time and look at him now. He has now a horse that has a chance of being definitely in the money when everything else is kind of, faltering late on in the race. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think he's a player.
He's a fascinating player. Just finally on Final Demand, are we all agreed that that's not his true running and that he is better than that? Or is it possible
absolutely.
that...
No.
He's absolutely better. He's way better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's loads better than that. Yeah.
Just whether or not he's going to be able to show it this season is another matter entirely. You alluded to...
In 5 weeks.
Yeah.
In 5 weeks.
Yeah, well, Gaelic Warrior, so it's not impossible. Although that was a drop-in trip, to be fair. Romeo Coolio, you alluded to, Jamie, he wins the Goff's Irish Arkle Novice Chase. And it's a second grade one of the weekend for Gordon Elliott, and well done. It's a fourth winner of the weekend for Jack Kennedy. Well, his other winner would come later in the day. Cargeezy easily could have won that race on another day, and that's 3 grade one wins for Romeo Coolio. Probably should have, yeah. Bit frustrating now, to be honest. Anyway, you're responsible for your own bets, so you just have to take your beating when you get it, but I thought, no, she could have won that race. I'd give him no chance at Cheltenham. That's 3 grade ones. It's a hard race, and if any horse has left their Cheltenham behind him, in my mind, it's him. The only positive, Tom, might be running him in a Brown Advisory probably wouldn't be any good to him in the long term. And while he might very well turn out to be a Gold Cup horse, do what you did with Kicking King, what Best Mate was going to do before it got cancelled with the foot and mouth, what they did with War of Attrition, go for the Arkle and then improve and trip later.
He definitely won, and I don't know this, but I'd be shocked if he went near a Brown Advisory. I'd be shocked, having ran over 2 mile, 2.5, then back to 2. I'd be shocked if they then went up to 3. That just wouldn't make sense. And he won't get beat because of that. He'll get beat because of the hard race he had the other day. I've yet to see 2 horses, maybe like Factile and Gaelic Warrior at Leopardstown a couple of years ago. They went at it, hammer and tongue. I don't know what the times were, but I can guarantee you for a 10-runner one would have went the same speed. You know what I mean? And Romeo Coolio sat on Cargeezy to make her keener than she is, which is perfectly race riding tactics, is brilliant. She got away from him at a point. He didn't need to try and get away from her. I just thought he used a lot of energy up between 4 out and 3 out, I think it was. And your man just came back there. And then when he did pass her, he pulled up and she got back to him. It looked more than it did. He was pulling up in front, if I'm honest. But again, he's had 4 runs this year already, and definitely 2 hard runs at Leopardstown.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's some horse if he comes out and wins the Arkle on the back of that, Jamie. And so is she, for that matter.
Yeah.
Oh, he will be some horse, and she will be some horse. I agree to him. But no, a mile 7.5 at Cheltenham. No, wouldn't be his bag for me. That's just me. He'll be a better horse up in trip next year, I will say that. Cargee's, hard race too. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but she'll be better left off, bucked up. But she'll have Irish Panther to think about in the Arkle. So she might not even get her own way in the Arkle. So that's the other side of it. But there's Lilamba and Kopek to board and to Pete as well, and all those horses in it. Arkle. What I seen, and if he's as good as what he did at Navan, with that slight doubt he could come back to Champion Earl, I still think Kopek to board him in the Arkle.
Oh, not
regardless
a hope.
of
not a hope in hell. Not a hope in hell. Forget about it. It's over. It's over. It's over.
It's over.
Forget about it. He's got no chance.
No chance. Kopek to board in the Arkle. Oh, stop now.
He hasn't run since November. He'll go there on the back of 1 chase start, and I did not like his owner going.
That's why I think he might go. That's why I think he might go to the Champion Earl.
I didn't like his owner going on the Nick Look Daily podcast and saying the horse had an infection. Yeah, I didn't like hearing that now at all. And that wasn't that man comes across as an absolute gentleman, and he's somebody you could only wish good things for. And it'll be absolutely fantastic if this horse comes out and wins the Arkle. I didn't like hearing that horse had an infection, has missed 2 grade 1 races that he should have gone for. He's going to make his grade 1 debut and second chase start against a battle-hardened, experienced horse who was placed at the Cheltenham Festival a year ago in Luamba, against a battle-hardened triple grade 1 winner in Romeo Coolio, for all that I think he left his race behind him, against a county hurdle winner and a horse who gave Sergino a fright in Aintree in Cargeezy, and an Irish Panther who had Romeo Coolio in trouble. And the Hearties are probably laughing to themselves that they've gone there very, very quiet with a horse who's given Romeo Coolio a bruising battle and will now ideally maybe even have a better prep going into the Arkle than him. Not a hope in hell of that. It's the same as Iroko. Do you remember they were saying about Iroko going to the Turners? Oh, he's got a great chance. Not a hope in hell did he have. And this fella's got no chance either. That's one of the greatest training performances in history, Tom Malone, if this horse goes and wins the Arkle on the back of 1 chase start. And it's not like Well Chief, who had a chase start in February, or not like 543, who had a hurdle start just before Cheltenham, or the nice guy who had a nice hurdle start before the potato race. This is November. You miss 2 prep races. You have to overcome an injury, a small injury and an infection, and you peak that horse to win at Cheltenham. Give Willie Mullins all the flowers in the world if he pulls that one off.
Best horse in the race, but won't win.
Yep. Not a hope.
It's very difficult. And I was just about to say, name the last horse to do, and it was Well Chief. But
Well
he
Chief,
actually
yeah.
went, he did go there with a chase start round Taunton, or Wincanton, one or the other anyway, Taunton, Wincanton, wherever it was. And then at least had that run. Very difficult, having had one early in the season. I think he's definitely good enough. There's no doubt about that. He's definitely good enough. But it would be a shock to me now if he was able to pull up. Like, remember one thing, his owner, great men and all that,
Yeah.
but when they get on and start talking about a veterinary issue and all that, they can say things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be explaining it correct, which he did in the start of the year, said he had a chip in the knee or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or something to that effect.
Floating chip, wasn't it?
A floating chip, but a floating chip has to be removed surgically, so that was wrong. He didn't mean it to come out that way. Do you know what I mean? But when a guy who's brilliantly enthusiastic about his animal, when you start talking about veterinary issues with animals, you've got to be so precise in what you're saying, because it can distort what people think. Like, infections can come and go in 2 days, or they can be lingering around for 6 weeks. So which one is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Yeah.
So you can get bogged down in that too much when you don't know. It's like a wind up. Well, there's 6, 7, 8 wind ups, different types of ones that can be done. Which one was it? One takes 10 days, one takes 6 weeks. You know, which one was it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes you can get into the veterinary side of it and not be educated enough, not saying he's not educated, but from a veterinary point of view, educated enough to be able to eloquently put it across. That's what I'm trying to say.
As a human being, you could have an infection and just be slightly run down, but still be able to function. And you can have an infection and be completely floored and be able to do nothing.
Absolutely, 100%. So therefore, Lulamba is the obvious favourite choice. It's got the experience. It's had a great prep. There's nothing in its way. He would like. Well, I know one thing: 5-4, 11-8 against 5-2. There's not enough of a gap given what I know about one and the other, and they're both rated about the same. So to me, it's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, and the third and fourth favourites have probably just left their Cheltenham behind them at the DRF. The second favourite.
What do you come on with then?
The second favourite is absolutely the best horse in the race, in my opinion, and has no chance of winning it, which is exactly what Tom Malone just said as well. Jaime Wrenn strongly disagrees with us and thinks he's the horse to beat. You choose your fighter. If you want the 5-2 about Kopek de Boards, good luck to you, but I think you're mad. And the 7-2, I'd say you'd be mad to be
Where is 6 Mile Bridge going to go?
They surely go Brown Advisory, will they?
Brown Advisory.
What would you do with him?
Well, he does not suffer from speed. He does not. He has a lot of pace. He travels great. I know he won over 2.5 the last day. But when you start putting all of them things in, and if they start looking to say, well, we're definitely going to stay strong here, we're kind of fresh and fit and healthy. I just wondering what your thought was that, it's been over 2.5, but he's not slow. The horse is definitely not slow. He's become an awful lot better for chasing, but it wouldn't be the biggest surprise to see him in there. And Mambo number 5 is another one. So
just very briefly, because I watched that race. I was talking to Adam Mills the whole way through it. And the two of us were sort of the opinion, sure, Kitzbühel's going to win this. And after the first fence, I was like, Kitzbühel's screwed here. I didn't have a bet in the race. I nearly backed Calaconte and was kicking myself that I didn't, because I was saying, sure, now it's over. And she gets left for dead. Maybe she's just not as good at this time of year. But I never even considered him for the Arco until you said it there a second ago.
And I'm not saying he's going to go there now.
No.
But now you have an option where a horse isn't devoid of speed, but because Kitzbühel fell out of it fairly early, no one's considering him now. But he's won a Grade 1 like a good horse. Now maybe he won a Grade 1 that was Calaconte fell out of it then, so there was really nothing there. But he's now starting to look like a 150 horse that, in a race where a couple of horses might have had hard races, he starts looking like a 25-1 shot that may end up in the frame if they ran him in it.
What was the prep race for last year's Arkle winner before the Cheltenham Festival?
Pass.
The Sicily Isles Novice Chase, where he probably should have beaten handstands.
Oh, you beat my handstands.
Now, it probably needs to be a bog for 6 Mile Bridge to win the Arkle, but...
Of course. But we have a year where we're having very soft ground, boys.
Yeah, we're having very soft ground, and we've also just spent nearly half an hour talking about how awful the Arkle is. How all these horses... Fergal!
I still like to back the favourite.
Fergal, 10% fee for Tom Malone. If you put him in the Arkle and you win, thanks very much. Commission fee there for Tom Malone would be much appreciated. Okay, a couple of races to just run by very, very quickly with the lads before we wrap it up. This episode is brought to you by 1xBet. If you're betting in Ireland and betting on the Champion Hurdle, the Champion Chase, whatever, the Cheltenham Festival, the markets are all live for you now on the 1xBet website, the official betting partner of Paris Saint-Germain, the European champions, and of FC Barcelona. More than 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. Loads of new customer sign-up offers. You can take advantage now by clicking the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Your game, your odds, your 1xBet, and your chance to win tickets, VIP tickets to Punchestown for the 1xBet Grand National Trial. We'll give away the tickets next week. You have to be a subscriber to the Final Furlong Podcast YouTube channel, so do that now, so it saves you a bit of hassle. Did we see the Triumph Hurdle winner with Narciso Has? He was pretty well backed favourite. I thought Mange 2 had a fair old chance getting the weight to go and confirm superiority over him, but he has kicked her into touch, Tom Malone.
Oh, and he's a beauty. He's as good as it gets for me now. He cost an awful lot of money after he won an Autoi. And then he came out and, all right, he got beat by our first time out, but by God, all he's done is improve since then. And let fly the other. Now, the ground was in his favour in that he's a big galloping. He'll be a proper chaser in time. He has a size and scope. But to me, by God, whatever wins the Triumph, we'll have to pass him first. I can tell you that. That's. I love seeing horses just come out and they do it. People make excuses for horses getting beat. Horses just go out and win. The good ones just keep winning. It's easy to them. And to me, he's as good as I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. I'm kind of sick I didn't back him, Jamie. The only scant consolation I'd give myself is that probably some of the horses I would have put in with him would have been wrong, so it's all right. But 7-4 is the top price about him now. That's with 1xBet for the Triumph Hurdle. Selma Devari was very interesting first start, and she stayed on really nicely, and I'm sure Townend will be confident about her in the Triumph Hurdle. And then there's Proactive, who Willie Mullins and JP may very well send to another target, possibly the Supreme, although it's a long time since Orlawa did the juveniles a favour in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Let's deal with the winner first of all, Narciso Has. What do you make of his chance for the Triumph Hurdle on the back of that?
He's the one to beat, no doubt. I think, Tom might know better than me, and you might know better than me. If they weren't trained by Willie Mullins, Proactive, and Narciso Has, would one of them go in the Supreme?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just my thought after the race. I thought after the race, no matter what Proactive did the last time, he was so professional now, you could not be impressed by Proactive. I thought if they ran again, and how unprofessional I thought Macho Man was, I thought if they ran again, I thought Macho Man would reverse the form. That's just me and what I saw. I think Selma Devari is very questionable. Like, she's had the runs in auto, I think I'm right this time, Tom. I think she's had 5 runs, so it doesn't matter. She's had 3 runs for a Boodles, whatever it's called now.
She's had 4 runs. She's had 4 runs.
Yeah. So she might. They're probably shocked how close she got to Narciso Has, but she did hang up the straight. So you just don't know where she's going. It's going to be very interesting because he has lows now. Like, he's Narciso, he's Proactive, he's Macho Man, and Selma Devari. So that's massive for Mullins. And the other horse in Britain is Maestro Conti. So, look, from what you've seen on Narciso Has, the jumping is unbelievable. And when he looks like he's only going like a, then he goes again. So, I think he's the one.
He's just so professional.
He's so professional. He's just a very, very good horse. Yeah. I was shocked on it because I was against him for a while. But what I saw yesterday was unbelievable. Yeah, he's very, very good. He's very good. Now, the only other one I like is Macho Man. I think that he's going to be a good horse as well. I think. Look, Proactive is good as well. But yeah, it's open. Look, maybe one of them might dip into the Boodles. Like, you just don't know. But they'll have to all go and beat Narciso.
With regards to the Supreme Novice Hurdle, we're going to see the famed Faux de Trois this weekend, Thursday at Thurles. So maybe that's the Supreme horse for Melon 2.0, same colours as well. But look, Narciso Haas was brilliant. The Spring Juvenile Hurdle is the best guide for the Triumph Hurdle. Any slight doubt in the back of your minds that he was on the front end and that might have flattered him a little bit? Or was he just much the best horse and he'll improve?
Much the best horse.
Yeah, much the best horse. He'll just gallop them into the ground in the Triumph.
Yeah, if he gets that kind of ground as well. Good night and good luck, you would imagine. 11 to 8 is the price. With most forms, you can get slightly bigger with 1xBet if you're betting in Ireland. Just a couple of races then to run through with you boys. The handicap hurdles and handicap chases. Did anything stand out? I thought Murcia ran really well, travelling widest of all. Big weight to carry. She'd be very interesting in wherever it is they decide to go for, particularly with Paul Town and riding her, whether it's the County Hurdle or the Coral Cup, wherever they decide to go. Back me or sack me. They're talking about the National Novices Chase. Just a quick note of caution there, because Sean Bone was brilliant on him, and hopefully he followed us in. We tipped him on the podcast as well at 14-1. I would imagine Wade Out's going to go for that race, in which case Ollie Murphy will claim Sean Bone and he won't be available. It's just something to consider with him, but he's a very nice horse, and wherever they decide to go with him, he'll go up a little bit, but not too much, I would have thought. And any thoughts on the bumper, Jaime Wrenn, who, well, you had a bet in the bumper, I know. It didn't quite go your way. We've all made mistakes in the past, but dearie me.
Yeah. I don't know. But as I said to you yesterday, standing next to you, Emmet, I think we said it before in the podcast that the two Willie Mullins horse, the 4-year-old, the name escapes me there though, the 4-year-old who won the Gorham Park bumper on Tayesta's day, and Love Signs Anew are the best I've seen so far in the bumpers. That bumper the weekend, the Mayor's bumper and the bumper yesterday, could you pick a champion bumper winner out of that? No. And you just took the words out of my mouth, and I think a lot of people around the Twitter sphere and I've seen the most eye-catching one of the whole handicaps when it goes to Cheltenham is Murcia, and I think it's going to be well found out in the handicap in the county hurdle market. After that, I didn't really see anything. Obviously, I thought Love Me Tender had 5 bloody runs, but it hasn't. It's only had 4, so that was the other eye-catcher for me, because I think that horse will be way better on better ground off a fast pace. So hopefully he might get another run in, but I very much doubt it. But he's definitely a horse for the spring or festivals down inside the fairy houses and Punchestones of this world if he doesn't go for handicap at Cheltenham. But they're the only ones really that stood out when it comes to handicaps going forward. I mean, in my book, because the ground was so soft. So there's a lot of horses that just didn't like it. That was it.
County Final was found to be coughing after the race, but his form had been franked in the graded race beforehand.
He's still 128. He's going to have to go up a lot, to get into a handicap at Cheltenham, especially the Martin Pipe.
That's the problem. Now, the only thing I'll say is that the quality isn't there as much as it used to be, and maybe he will sneak into the Martin Pipe. Maybe he will. You need the 5 runs to get in.
I think someone said to me the last day, it might be totally wrong. I think the bottom weight last year was about 124, 126. So he has a chance to get in with Irish tax. So do you know what I mean? So he's definitely a player.
People are looking at the handicap hurdles and the handicap chases with a mindset from 7 years ago. The quality's not there as much as it used to be, so he might get in, and he obviously didn't run his race. So on a line through Kaczynski, if they can get him back in form, then and he was coughing after the race, so that's the legitimate excuse for his bad run. So I'd keep County Final in mind for one of the Cheltenham handicaps. Tom, anything in the handicaps that interested you?
No, the champion bumper.
Go on.
No walkover.
No walkover.
Let me take a wild guess now. This is by Walk in the Park.
No, he's not.
Oh, is he not?
It's by Poet's Word.
This is one of these Galileo Gold type of situations.
No walkover. He's 25 to 1.
David Pipe.
Yeah.
Oh, the St. Stephen's Day, the Boxing Day winner.
Yes. This is a very, very good horse.
Second to Crystal Desterval, the Tatterstall's top lot, who then looked really, really good for Harry Durham.
Should have beaten him. They set sail 5 out in a pint on bottomless heavy ground, and he jumped across Crystal Desterval at the last, and Crystal Desterval got to the line in front of him. He was going to beat him 2 or 3 lengths easy, right? It was only
Crystal Desterval who came out. Oh, that's Durham horse.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Durham horse. And he's over hurdles. He's over hurdles now. He's not running again. He must have hurt himself, but he looked very impressive at Warwick. And then did he go somewhere else and win? Carlisle. He went somewhere anyway. He looked awesome. This horse went to Chepstow first time out, and I myself and Dave gave Conor O'Farrell all the wrong instructions because he'd ran across Crystal d'Esterval when he hit the front and the point. We said, hold on to him, don't get there. He was absolutely running away from the home turn in Chepstow. And he'd done everything to stop him from hitting the front. And then we nearly got him beat. It wasn't Conor's fault. It was not Conor's fault. And then we said, look, we got to ride this horse like a good horse in Aintree, giving away a penalty, and he destroyed them. He destroyed them that day. That is a very, very good horse.
I'm sold.
So there's your 25. There's your 25 to 1 shot.
I'm sold.
What was the last pipe horse? What was the name of that pipe horse to win the bumper that year?
Moon Racer.
Moon Racer.
That's the one.
One of the favourites of the Final Furlong podcast from back in the day.
Moon Racer.
Iconic said, where is what's the name of the horse again?
Brighterdaysahead.
Walking on Air?
No, it's the good horse who won the bumper in Ascot last year.
Yeah.
Wind Beneath My Wings.
Wind Beneath My Wings.
You might see him in Punchestown for the bumper.
Okay. Which they did with Moon Racer, I think, if I remember correctly.
They did.
Yeah,
he had a few niggles this year, and it's all a bit rushed to try and get to the Supreme Novice for him. And we just took a view that potentially we'd just sit tight. It might still happen, but we'd sit tight and worry about hurdling next year. No one wants to lose. For a horse like him, when you have Money Garros, Swinging Safari, Heads Up, all them horses that were 18 lengths being absolutely trashed behind him, and him on the steel, all coming out and being 140 horses.
Yeah.
He is a jet, right, if we get him right. So the worst thing to do is put pressure on him this year, and hopefully he'll come back and be the jet we all think he is, and we know he is, for next year.
Okay, well, please God,
we might try and take the Punchestown bumper en route.
Please God, we can be there at Punchestown. And Jamie and myself will rack up to that place and knock it off. And Tom, hopefully, you'll be there as well. Yeah. And I think you've just given us a 50 to 1 shot to run a massive race in the potato race and a 20 to 1 winner of the champion bumper. So you've put in quite the shift today, Tom Malone. Of the horses you saw at the Dublin Racing Festival, which one do you think is the most likely to replicate that performance at Cheltenham or improve on it?
Narciso has.
Jaime Wrenn.
I was going to say the same one, but I'd say an inner man. Yeah, I was like, but no, Majbor, yeah. No, Majbor, Dr. Steinberg. I really like Dr. Steinberg. I think Dr. Steinberg's a very good horse. I like
Dr. Steinberg an awful lot as well. I think the danger to him is Ballyfad if he goes for the turners. And it'll be very interesting to see what Gordon decides to do. Factile wins the Gold Cup. Forget about it. It's over. Give him the Gold Cup now. It's over, folks. That's it. Thank you so much to Jaime Wrenn and to Tom Malone for joining us again on the Final Furlong podcast. And thank you for joining us too. We didn't pester you or hassle you too much for likes and subscribes the whole way through the episode. I don't think, not too much anyway. So hopefully you already have. If not, a like is very much appreciated on this episode. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. We've got loads of content coming your way, including lots of Cheltenham Festival specials as well, and interview content, which hopefully you'll find, and lots of data content as well, which hopefully you'll find very helpful in the build-up to the biggest 4 days of National Hunt Racing. From Jaime Wrenn, Tom Malone, and me, Emmet Kennedy, we'll talk to you again very, very soon, including for the weekend preview. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong podcast, independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.